Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jason and you're watching Jason Jensen Trains. Well, most mornings I start the day with a cup of coffee and running some trains. I recently started a couple structures. I had some spots on the layout that I knew I wanted these structures to go in. Let me quick show you at the workbench what they are. Here are the two structures. Let's start with this one. It is from Foscale Models and it's Gorman's Sign Company. And it's currently available on their website. Now with this one, I stained the walls using murky brown. I then sort of dry brushing, you've seen me do the technique on the channel before, painted blue on it to make it look really distressed and chipping. And the blue that I used is from Archive X. So I brushed that on there, and then I put a stain over it. And let me grab it quick if I can find it. Provincial. So again, after the blue paint had dried, I went over the entire thing with the Provincial, and so it stained the blue slightly, changed the color a little bit, and then really soaked into the wood. Then I dry brushed it using light sand. Okay, pretty simple. Now, this one. It is from another kit from Foscale Models, and it's Axel Road. This was their big limited edition kit from last year, 2022. And you can see right there, it's in the center. It's the large building there. There is so much more work to do to this. There's just so many details, and another structure that sits up on the roof. There's another structure that gets added to the side here. Another little structure that gets added right here in front. There is a lot more work to do on this. Now on this one, the gray is neutral gray. And the trim and windows and doors are all light buttermilk. Pretty straightforward. And later in the video, we'll go over why I chose the colors that I did. And we'll talk about why these specific buildings are going on the layout and where they're being placed. Okay, well, as you can see, they are not finished. I guess I call this speed building. I get the basic shape of the structure built and put the roof cards on them. This allows me to set them in place so I can get a better sense of the scene that I'm trying to create. And it allows me to know where roads are going, where grass is going to be. Now, this is good and bad, because sometimes it takes a very long time to get back to completing the structure. I have some structures over here that are 2-3 years old that still aren't finished. I just never got back to them. But the good thing, like I said, is it allows you to see what it's going to look like in the area and to know where to put your scenery and roads. Since I've started producing kits, I'm finding it a little harder to find time to work on the layout. So by doing these speed builds, it allows me to make a little bit of progress on the layout. Now you may ask, how do you decide what buildings go where? And how do you pick the colors? So as far as choosing what structures go where, you want to create depth. And to do that, you need to go uphill. So you can see we start down low, and then it gradually builds. So you can see the new structure right there. Now, we wouldn't have wanted a one-story building there, and we wouldn't have wanted a 3-story building there, because you don't want it to block the view of the front of that building there. And having it too low, if it was just 1 story, leaves a big opening in the scene. So you just, like I said, gradually go bigger, bigger, and bigger. So we're going to put a structure here, and I want that structure to be a 2-story tall structure so that it's underneath that track and fills that area in. Now, not every area needs to be filled with a structure. We have this area here, and that'll be great for some big trees and abandoned cars, junk piles, stuff like that. So again, over on this side, we start out with a 1-story building. Then we gradually go up to some 2-story buildings, and then a larger building in the back, and then even bigger back here. So you're just gradually going uphill. We have another 3-story structure that fits right there. So it'll probably go to that height. So you'll still get a view of what's back there. And it's a big building, just like this one here. We build another one that fits in right here. Then we need to build a structure that goes right here, right across from this one. And like this one, it'll get on it'll be put on a thick foundation, and then it'll be a 2-story structure. Now, as far as color goes, you don't want the same color next to each other. For example, we have a row of buildings right here. So we have blue, red, there's blue behind the tree, green, white, and blue. Now, if these were all white, it would not be very interesting. So when you're building a new structure and you're not sure of the color, first determine where you're going to put it. Then look at the overall scene and think, what color haven't I used in a while that maybe is the furthest away? So, for example, looking at this scene right here, I see this green building. Now, we could have done that new structure green, but I went with a light blue because we do have a blue structure here. It's darker, and then we have a blue structure over here. Now, we could have also chose red because the closest red is right here, and our lighthouse, and red here. And so it would pull your eye through the scene. So you have a lot of options, but just look at colors in the surrounding area of the structure. So looking over here, so we have a dark gray, white, yellow, another dark gray, green, and red and white. So on the structure that goes in this hole right here, 3-story structure, chances are I will make that green or white with green trim. But I need to, I think, incorporate some green into it. Now that structure could also be red, but I'm kind of leaning towards green. We then have a structure that will be built that sits right here. And I'll probably do that structure based on the scene here, white. because it's under the track here, so there is a shadow. So I don't want to go with a dark color. And the only closest white is right here, and it does have some black on it. So I think that structure will be white. Here you can really see the variation of colors with blue, red, white, yellow, green, blue, that one's red, white. Now you think that those colors sound pretty colorful, and it's a wide range of color, but by weathering it all the same, it connects them all and gives it an overall feel and look, so it all blends together. Storytelling is another big part of it. So we'll have a road that crosses right here and then goes through and all the way down. Now, for these structures over here, it may be blacktop or gravel over here. Then we have another road that's going to have to come over here and go over to our tavern. And that will be a gravel road. And it also will go over for the lighthouse. So we're creating a story by using concrete, asphalt, gravel, and then things like this structure here is heavily worn. And of the structures in this group, that one's been there the longest. And it's next to this tower here and underneath the tracks. So over the years, just a lot of dirt has fallen on it. Not a lot of people probably wanted that structure or that building, because of the trains going over the building like every hour. Now this kit is a sign shop. So after we get in our retaining wall, which will either be stone or concrete, there's a fence, a chain link fence, and then signs, tons of signs that get put in right here. And I'm sure there'll be signs all around. Out here, we'll get into more of the storytelling when we get into doing the scenery work. I actually am very thankful that I haven't started a whole lot of scenery, because it allows me to move the buildings around. Now, this area over here is pretty much set for structures, and this is where they're going to stay. But I do move structures around a lot, and by not having my scenery done yet, it allows me that freedom. But like I said, I think that this section here is pretty much set. I don't see any changes happening over here. Let me give you an example of moving structures. So this area over here, it needs a lot of work. It really does. The trestle gets taken out, and there'll be either a rock cliff or retaining walls that step up. Not sure on that yet. But this area right here, this corner, nothing's set in stone, so we could take this building, which, my grandfather bought this kit and put it together, and it was on his layout. Now, my grandfather built structures without painting or weathering them. He just built the plastic kit straight out of the box and placed it on his layout. Now, I took this and did, I painted it, I weathered it, I put a wood deck around it. I added some greenery on it. And it sat here for a while and it looks fine. But we'll obviously have to fill this in with some joint compound. But then this could go right there. Then we take this building and we move it into this corner, making sure that there's enough clearance on both sides. It's a little tight. Now we can still get a 2-lane road right through there and through there, and it goes over and around. You get the idea. Now we can look at kits that we have and come up with a very small structure, maybe a triangle shape, or take a rectangle structure kit and turn it into, chop one of the walls down, make it smaller so that it is more of a triangle. Then that road comes across the track and goes down, and then we'll cross the tracks again and go over. Now this area, I'm considering moving this structure is close to the edge here. It's only an inch maybe that I'm gaining. Move that an inch, then move this row out an inch, maybe an inch and a half if I shorten that, but no, probably just an inch. So I'll put more styrofoam all along there so this extends out. Now, I had a structure here. I'll show you. And then I had this. And then there were some planks that connected this right here. We had this pier. I think it sat in right there. Nice. A nice scene. But Foscale Models put out their recent kit, their big year-end kit, and I am just in love with it. And a big part of it probably is going to sit right in this area. I may even have to extend out some of the land, but we're going to make it fit right there. This structure here was built before I had my YouTube channel, but the hotel is actually a cardboard building. Then there is a cigar shop from Bar Mills that is right there, and then I just added this little watchtower to it. But now, that's going to sit right there. And this ends up right there. And I may put a little bit of space between them and add plank like that. And then once we get the styrofoam figured out here, if we're going to actually add some more land back here after we move all this out, there's going to need to be like stairs, maybe a staircase that runs up to that level, like on this side. And then we'll put a walkway that connects to the land. But I want another one in between here. We still have so much area over here with all of this. And possibly some of this may get filled in with the new kit from Foscale Models. We need to get back to finishing all of our background structures. A lot of these get another wall put on the side of it to make it kind of a triangle shape, to give it more of a three-dimensional look. And that allows us to then have an area on the top, the roof, to put stuff, to detail it. Like always, a huge thank you to all of my Patreons. Seriously, you people really help support this channel, and I appreciate you all so much. If you'd like to become a Patreon, please visit my Patreon page at Jason Jensen Trains. No. Patreon.com/Jason Jensen Trains. I'll put it right there for you. All right, well, I'm going to drink a little bit more coffee and watch some trains and maybe do a little bit more planning. All right, well, until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.